Sam. Today I'm going to share my understandings about my chosen topic. So, in the template injection, I chose the Rail Dynamic Render, and in the SQL injection, I chose the Drupal. So first, Rail Dynamic Render. So, Rails controller are designed to implicitly render view files on a method being invoked. For example, when evaluating a controller method method, the frame will fall back to the implicitly rendering the file if there are no other explicit render statements. So, in many cases, however, developers will decide to explicitly render different content based on format such as the text, JSON, XML, or an entirely different view file. A view file in this context would be a templating language file such as ERB, HEML, and so on. So about this, at first glance, the code seems pretty simple, and one would guess that the desired purpose of specified controller action was to render the view template which is specified via the template parameter. So the render mechanism seems to be the prime example of a single function trying to accomplish too much, and this is where the problem lies. So let's assume that the expected behavior for the render mechanisms is to attempt render the file in here. And this seems like a plausible thought, providing the template parameter with a value of dashboard will accept to load the template in here. So, where that .ext is any allowable extension such as .html, .heml, and .html.erb, and etc. Next is Drupal. So Drupal is a popular open source content management system for building websites, similar to Joomla and WordPress. It's written in PHP is modular, meaning you can install new functionality in units to Drupal site. Every Drupal install contains Drupal core, which is a set of modules that runs the platform. These core modules require connection to a database such as MySQL. So just like what we did on our capstone subject, we build a website which is .php, and we also connect it to the database which is the XAMPP, and it is where we connect the MySQL. So in 2014, Drupal released an urgent security update to Drupal core because all Drupal sites were vulnerable to a SQLI vulnerability that could easily be abused by anonymous user. The impact of the vulnerability would allow an attacker to take over any unpatched Drupal site. Stephen Horst discovered the vulnerability when he noticed a bug in a Drupal core's prepared statement functionality. A Drupal vulnerability occurred in Drupal's database application programming interface. The Drupal API uses the PHP data objects extensions, which is an interface for accessing databases in PHP. So, an interface is a programming concept that guarantees inputs and outputs of a function without defining how the function is implemented. In other words, PDO hides the differences between databases so programmers can use the same functions to query and fetch data regardless of database type. PDO includes supports for prepared statements. Drupal created a database API to use the PDO functionality. So, as what I understand, it is a website that is a Drupal is a website that has its PHP code, and it is also connected to the database, which is the SQL. So as what I've said, um, for me, it is like just the what we make in the capstone capstone subject, which is the we build a website that is a PHP code, and also it is connected to the database, which is the XAMPP application, that is where there's SQL.